Hello, this is Ms. Thomas, the teacher librarian at Mojave Middle School, and this is a presentation on how to access reliable resources from our library resource page. So let's get started. When you open your Chromebook, this is going to be your home page. What I'd like you to do is open another tab and click on your waffle over here on the right and open your drive. That's going to be important, so I want you to have that done already. And then go back to your sign-on page and go ahead and sign in. All right, so if you have not recently been to the library resources page, you are not going to see these tiles here. If you do see them, click on Mojave Library Resources. If you don't see them, come down to the bottom of your screen and click on Library, and then click on the tile that says Mojave Library Resources. If for some reason you are still tied to an elementary school and they haven't switched you over yet, you're going to click on All Library Resources, go to middle schools, and click on Mojave Library. So, as you can see, there's lots of shortcuts here for you. We're going to focus on research. I just want to share with you that Discovery Ed would be considered a reliable source. So if you found information in Discovery Ed for your research, you could use that. Same thing with BrainPop. BrainPop is a reliable source. If you watched any of their videos and pulled out any important information, you could definitely cite it in a paper. So those are there for you. But what we're going to focus on are the in context links and anything that has this black banner that says Gale. Now, all of these are shortcuts for you, which are resources from the Arizona State Library. So the Arizona State Library has all of these wonderful resources, and we provided links to them on this page. And we pulled out the ones that we thought would be most appropriate for middle school research. So we're going to start with U.S. History in Context. That's going to be our example today. And the first page that you come to is actually a login for Arizona residents. You need to enter an Arizona zip code to access this. And again, because it's an Arizona state resource. So you can enter your zip code, you can enter the school zip code, as long as you enter an Arizona zip code and log in. It will take you to the resource that you selected. There it is, Gale in Context. So the first thing that I want you to do is come on over here where it says sign in with Google, and I want you to click that. And since you're signed into your Chromebook, it's going to sign you in. There it is, signed in. There I am. So now I'm signed in and it's connected to my Google account. So when you first come to any of these resources, they're going to have a topic of interest, which is just a main story that they're highlighting. They're going to have different tiles down here to help you browse different topics. We're going to do a search, and we're going to search for enlightenment. And as you just start typing it in, it'll bring up some options for you. There it is, enlightenment. And it's going to search, and you're going to find that you have tons of options here. So 901 reference articles, 331 biographies, and every single one of these has already been vetted to be reliable, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not like when you go to Google and you type it in and you get all these results and you're not really sure which ones you can trust the information from. So really encourage you to use these websites. So how can you bring these down a little bit? Well, let's say that publication date, you think to yourself, you know, one of the things that I learned in media literacy is that it's supposed to be current. So you decide to change your publication date to within the last 10 years. So you change this to January 1st of 2010 to today's date. So what is today's date? August 28th. There it is. Okay, and you apply that. Now all of a sudden you only have a couple of options here. And then you think to yourself, you know, the Enlightenment did happen a long time ago, and maybe they would have some primary sources from that time that would be important for me to research. So maybe I don't want it to be filtered down by just the last 10 years, and you want to remove that filter. What you do is you come over here and it will show you your applied filters, and you've decided you no longer want this one. So you just click that X button and it's gone and you're back to the original number. So there's other ways to filter your results here, and you can mess around with that a little bit. So other things, let's go to, here's a nice overview looking title. It just says Enlightenment, and overviews are usually pretty good for getting some good information. So let's click on this article. And it will tell you all kinds of stuff. It'll tell you who the author and editors are, when it was published, where it was published, what type of document it is, how many words it has, how difficult it is in terms of lexile and all that other stuff. So you'll have this information. And then you'll see a couple of icons here and a couple of options here as well. So many of you might be in a DLI class, and so you're going to love this little translate option here. If you click on this, you can select this down arrow and you can find the Spanish, and it says this is a preview, and it does give a little disclaimer that they do not guarantee the accuracy of the translation. This is going to be done through software, and they cannot promise that there are no mistakes. However, it should be pretty close and something that should work for your purposes. So you would click complete translation, and then there it is, and everything is there for you in Spanish. Okay, so if you need that, it is available to you. I'm going to go back to the original language. You can also change the font size. You can make it smaller. You can make it bigger. Okay, so that it's easier to read. You can also listen to it. It will download it and it will read it to you. I'm not going to really preview that for you because it would take a while to download and get that going, but that is an option. So here it is. You're going to read it. You're going to see if it's something that you can use. And while you're reading it, you decide that there's some important information that you want to include in your paper. So let's say that we want to include that it happened during the late 17th and 18th centuries. So we're going to highlight this, and as soon as we do that, we get a little box which will allow us to actually highlight it. You can pick your color, and you can even add a note like what calendar years would this be? Question mark. And that's something for you to go back and check on, right? If you see all of this in red where it says Enlightenment, this is just the article's way of letting you know that you searched for enlightenment, and this is why they gave you this article, because the word enlightenment is peppered throughout the entire thing, and therefore they thought it might be of interest to your search. Other stuff is in blue, and if you just hover over it, it will show you that if you click on that, it will give you related articles for that term. So there are different ways for you to navigate this page and find additional resources and related readings. So it's pretty cool. So once you've done that, what you will see is that it does have this Drive button. It also has this Send To button. Both of these will do the same thing. This Send To gives you options. You can send it to Google Drive, OneDrive, or email. But if you click the Drive button, it automatically goes to your Drive, which is why I wanted you to have it open. So if you click it, you'll get a little note. Documents have been sent to Google Drive and will appear shortly. So you say OK. And when you go to your Drive, what you will notice is it has actually created a folder for you that is called Gale in Context U.S. History. And if you double click on that, there it is, and your highlights are even there. So anything that you've highlighted is there for you, highlighted. And the other wonderful thing is that you scroll down to the very bottom, and this also has the citations that you will need to include in any of your papers if you use a portion of this information and you have to cite it. Source citation, MLA 8th edition, and here it is, and you would just copy and paste that into your resources page. So, as I said, this will work with any of these in context black bannered resources. You can click on them, you can search them, you can find articles, you can highlight them, you can translate them, and you can send them straight to your Google Drive. Once they're in your Google Drive, you can upload them to a Google Classroom assignment, and that is actually, if this is being presented to you by your teacher as an assignment, here is your exit ticket. After watching the instructional video, you need to log in and explore a Gale resource of your own choosing. It doesn't have to be U.S. history. You could select any of them. Select an article. If you are in a DLI class, you need to translate that article into Spanish. You should highlight at least one passage in the article, as I demonstrated. You can highlight more if you'd like. Then send the article to your Drive, and then update the article to your Google Classroom assignment and submit your work. All right, that's everything from me. I hope this has been informative and helpful, and I really hope that you will use these resources when you are doing research for your academics. It really is a great way to find reliable information. Thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day.